Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Opposition Leader Pennelope Beckles confirms that Janelle John-Bates has been replaced in the Senate, but kept her cards close to her chest as to who her replacement is. She also lamented the government's continued use of a state of emergency ahead of its expiration in less than 2 weeks. Beckles also condemned Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar for not making herself available to the media at post-cabinet briefings. Now, the thing about it is, people, she's correct about her concerns when it pertains to the continued abuse of the state of emergency here in Trinidad and Tobago. She's a hypocrite when it pertains to that an extent, because under Emperor Thanos Rowley for 9.5 years, well, at least he's in his second term, he abused his authority as well, using an SOE to lock down the country for more than 2 years because of C-19, right? But people will say, well, it was happening all over the world, so you can't really just blame Rowley for that. But he set the precedent coming down to the ending in 2024 when he declared crime a health emergency and used the SOE in order to be able to reduce the crime rate. So he set the precedent. But as I said on my other channel a little while ago, what we did not notice, and what we didn't really take heed about, and we didn't see the red flag, is that Queen Kamala was declaring or telling, giving advice to the government all along, the Rowley regime all along, to use an SOA to be able to fight crime. We forgot that. And yet she ended up criticizing it in the end because she said because it was just a mama guy thing, was too late, or because in her mind, the Rowley should have taken her advice sooner, long before that time. But the reality is, people, as I said on my other channel, you cannot continue to infringe upon the rights of citizens to privacy in their homes, and also all citizens, even suspects. You cannot continue to detain a person if you do not have sufficient evidence in order to be able to keep them in custody. That is unconstitutional, what is taking place. And we see that we have a government in office right now and a prime minister in office right now that appears to be having the intention of governing this nation for the next 4 years via an SOE, fighting so-called crime via an SOE, but also infringing upon the rights of citizens to peacefully protest in any location throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Because once the SOE ends, people, she may not be able to declare any areas, zones that are restricted for protests. And that is what people fail to understand. So we have to target the SOE. It needs to stop. It needs to end. When it pertains to Pennelope Beckles, finally replacing Janelle John-Bates, I believe to an extent, she kind of used wisdom instead of totally embarrassing the woman by replacing her before this time. It was all about timing. She waited until now that it doesn't look that bad in order to do it. I don't really see that as being wrong, Honestly speaking, she just saved the young woman a little bit of embarrassment. She already did something wrong. She definitely did something wrong. But to try to, leave her with a little bit of dignity, she decided, you know what, I will wait until Parliament is going to reopen, then to replace her. Honestly, I cannot just be a political fanatic. As a matter of fact, right now I'm criticizing the government, the UNC government as well. I think, honestly speaking, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me, I think Penny actually used a bit of wisdom here. It's just to save the woman. I believe it was really and truly, it was an error. Although PNM, you can't really trust PNM, but I really believe that it was an error that was made. It was a significant error, and she definitely should have been removed. But it's all about the timing. I believe Penny made a wise decision by waiting until now to go ahead and do it. Tobago Chief Secretary Fali Augustine, the man who I am hoping will actually expand his party into Trinidad and give us an opportunity to vote for somebody else in 2030, please, sir. You do not appear to be a man that is just standing in solidarity with central government blindly. I believe you can be a very good option in 2030. Tobago Chief Secretary Fali Augustine welcomed the launch of the new active directed grid patrol system, but warned that the police are running out of excuses for failing to solve crime. You see how he sounds different to Queen Kamala and her administration. He stated that the Assembly has provided the police with everything they requested, including advanced technology, vehicles, and upgraded stations to improve safety on the island. But you see, it all boils down to the fact that the TTPS is just extremely corrupt and incompetent. Augustine argued that with these extra resources fully deployed, the public now expects to see a real drop in crime and better results from law enforcement. He emphasized that the island cannot afford to lose its peace and that officers must use these new tools effectively to protect both residents and visitors. Well said, Fali Augustine. My response: Fali, I can see your potential to become the future leader or prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Please distance yourself from the UNC, which has been transformed into PNM's twin by Queen Kamala and her inner circle. I would advise you, Fali Augustine, take your 2 MPs and pull them far away from the government. You don't need to join the opposition, but make it clear that you are not part of the UNC's team either. If you need to vote against, vote against. Okay? The TTPS must be significantly reformed, I went on to say, before that law enforcement agency can improve its detection rate. And this is what I want Fali Augustine to understand, that we need to address the serious issues facing the TTPS. It's extremely corrupt. There are far too many individuals in the TTPS that commit serious crimes like extrajudicial killings, like extortion, like drug trafficking, controlling drug blocks people. That needs to stop. We also need to ensure that all police officers understand that they must abide by the normal everyday laws in society as well, because the vast majority of police officers are law-abiding citizens, just like the rest of us. But they violate the same traffic laws that most of us violate. I don't have a vehicle, but I'm saying people in general, right? People violate like parking, right? Police officers will go boldly, park illegally in police vehicles or in their private vehicles and go and play a playway or go to use the ATM, go in the roti shop, right? Buy food, to be able to go in the pharmacy, right? To conduct personal errands. They will do that. They also use obscene language in public. And they got away with it. Why? Because they are supposedly above the law. That needs to change. That needs to change. The next government must ensure that the TTPS removes all rogue cops from within the system. Those who commit extrajudicial killings, extortion, and drug trafficking should spend the rest of their lives in prison. And I seriously mean that. Those are serious crimes, lifetime in prison. We cannot continue to depend on ignorant, arrogant, and incompetent police officers to investigate and solve crimes here in T&T. That's one of the main reasons why we still have such a high crime rate in Trinidad, along with, can't just blame the TTPS alone, can't blame the government alone either, along with gang culture. The entire population is being indoctrinated with gang culture, especially through the entertainment industry. It must stop, people. You cannot tell people what music to produce, but we can tell the radio stations to stop glorifying it in public and stop promoting it in public either. You shouldn't be able to promote that type of music in your parties and clubs either.
Weather forecast for Trinidad and Tobago, Saturday, June 6, 2026. The weather forecast for Trinidad and Tobago on Saturday, June 6, 2026 features partly cloudy to cloudy, hazy, and breezy conditions during the day with an increased chance of isolated thunderstorms developing overnight. High temperatures are expected to reach 31 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 31 degrees Celsius in Tobago, with nighttime lows dipping to 24 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius. Marine conditions remain moderate in open waters with waves measuring 2.0 to 2.5 meters in open waters and remaining below 1.0 meter in sheltered areas. Winds will be breezy with sudden gusts possible in or near heavy showers.
International news now. Hiring came in much stronger than expected in May according to the latest job report. the U.S. added 172,000 jobs last month, far above forecasts, as employers continue to hire despite inflation pressures and broader economic uncertainty. The unemployment rate remained unchanged at 4.3, marking another month of labor market stability. So even though it didn't drop, good news is it isn't increasing. Glenn Beck on X. Here's the hard truth about the Iran war. Iran isn't trying to win. It's trying to outlast. This has been their plan for decades. We even have footage of them saying exactly that in the 1990s. That's all they're doing. They're playing games with Trump. They're hoping, people, that the Democrats will win both houses in November this year, take back both the lower house and the Senate, and impeach Trump, and therefore that will be the end of it. Because once a Democrat president is in control, people, they will be able, Iran will get everything they want, just like under Obama and Biden. He went on to say, by every conventional measurement, Iran has lost. But they learned something important over the past decades. The only wars America has ever lost are the ones we've grown tired of. So they have kept the war just hot enough to wear the American people out so that they could pressure Trump to stop it. But Trump could understand that he could just go and take decisive action in Iran and stop it very quickly. They know they can't beat us on the battlefield, so they hurt us at the gas pump and wait for us to vote in new people. You see what I just tell you? You're waiting for the Democrats to hopefully win in November. God forbid it happens, though. I hope that Republicans go out in their large numbers and preserve their control, or maintain their control in both the House and Senate, even give a larger majority. That has always been their ultimate plan.
Bible quote of the day. Hebrews 1:1-4. Long ago, at many times and in many ways, God spoke to our fathers by the prophets, but in these last days he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed the heir of all things, through whom also he created the world. He is the radiance of the glory of God and the exact imprint of his nature, and he upholds the universe by the word of his power. After making purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high, having become as much superior to angels as the name he has inherited is more excellent than theirs.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.